Okay, so I had a new air conditioning system installed about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Along with a smart thermostat.
Great.
The problem is that the humidity levels have been extreme ever since then, very high, anywhere between 70 and 90%.
That's high.
So I installed this dehumidifier, and of course the problem with that is you have to empty it multiple times a day.
Okay, and then the humidity level is okay.
Yeah.
All right, the temperature's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime I hear about this complaint of yours, and it often happens after new equipment's been installed, I suspect one thing first and foremost, and that is that the new equipment may have been oversized. Air conditioning equipment is measured in a term called tons. And that goes back a long time, back when they measured cooling power on melting, how long it took to melt a ton of ice.
Oh, wow.
When the Iceman was around. All right? So think about it. You've got equipment that's too big. What's it going to do? You turn the thermostat, it cools the air quickly, so quickly that it doesn't leave the fan on long enough to dehumidify. Okay? So what do? You have to really start with some science. A lot of people will walk into a building and say, by rule of thumb, well, it's this many square feet, I must need this much tonnage, and that doesn't really work. What you want to do is do a thing called a heat gain calculation. What are the walls made of? Is it wood? Is it concrete? Are they insulated? How about the roof? What about siding? Where's the sun come up? How about, is there trees right in the windows? So I want to do a calculation to see what you've got, and I want to check the equipment that you got, okay?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, Kara, I've learned a little bit. Your air handler is up there in that attic. I'm not going to take you up there. It's really hot up there.
Yeah.
All right. It's a 3-ton system. You know, when I hear 3 tons and I think about what you have, a 900 to 1,000 square foot house, it really feels really big. But it's a reminder about how important this whole heat gain calculation is.
Okay.
So I look at this. There's not a stitch of insulation in the roof. This is concrete block, no insulation here, right? You don't have a tree to block the sun. So I enter that all into my app, and guess what it came up with? 3 tons.
Oh.
So the good news is that's the right size for this building based on its insulation. All right, so we checked that off. That's not the culprit. Next thing I would think about, though, would be the smart thermostat you added, right?
Right.
So people love the smart thermostats. They save energy. But the issue is if you ask them to turn the air conditioner off all day and then come home at night, think about what happens when it's off all day. The building, concrete block and all, gets refilled with humidity. Right? And then you come home and try to wring it down. It might take all night for it to come back. So I like to see a much narrower gap. So I looked at your app here. Beautiful. You're 72, 78. I see people looking for it to be 88 during the day and 68, and it's just too far to go. Okay? So that's not the issue. But I also saw this. You see this? It shows that it wants your fan to be on 24 hours a day, 365. Do you know how that happened?
Yeah, I think that's because of the UV filter we had installed with the unit for allergies purposes, yeah.
All right, so here's a picture of your unit. So there's the UV light right there. This is a light bulb that sits in the airstream, right? Air blows by it, and what it does, it goes after germs and bacteria. But you know what? It doesn't do much for allergens, by the way.
Okay. And
it needs to have the fan on so that you don't create ozone inside the air handler. So I think that UV light gave us some unintended consequences.
Okay.
Think about what happened. Thermostat asks for air conditioning. That coil gets really, really cold. All that humidity I was talking about, the moisture is on the coil, right, being removed. And now the thermostat shuts off. The fan stays on, though, at half speed. And now it takes air across that coil, and instead of dumping humidity, it picks it up and absorbs it.
Yeah.
Now puts it back in the building. So you were humidifying and then dehumidifying on and off all day, okay? So I think we got to stop that and really come up with a solution that's going to address your humidity and your allergies, okay?
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, so here is that UV light I was talking about. It's got a bulb right here, and the air blows through it, and it goes after germs and bacteria. Now, it says here that you actually are supposed to change this bulb every 2 years. Now, this has been in longer than 2 years, right?
Yeah, close.
There's some good chance that this thing's been up there doing nothing while it made that fan run all the time, right?
Wow.
So we're going to make that go away. You know, these things don't really do anything for what causes allergies, you know, pet dander, pollen, particulates. This is only going to work on germs and bacteria, okay? So a filter is critically important for those things I talked about. So any air handler has some sort of basic filter like this. This is the 1-inch pleated filter, standard in the industry. You can see it right here. This has been in for about 2 or 3 months, and you can see how dirty it is already. But this really isn't enough.
Okay.
So I want to step up to a higher level of filtration, It gets better and better every year. This is actually a pleated filter. This is 5 inches wide, this filter, versus 1 inch.
Okay.
But also, if you look at the pleats, look at the density here.
Right.
If I was to actually pull this apart like an accordion, that filter would be like 20 feet wide. So we get all this level of filtration now compressed into a box like this, okay?
Okay.
That means it's going to run air through it, do a really good job getting what's important to you, and it will last longer. It'll be about a year you're going to have to think about changing.
Oh, okay.
This is about
Great.
2 or 3 months.
Okay.
All right, now we just got to get it installed. We're working with local HVAC contractor Terry Mcclellan. He starts by cutting out a section of the return duct. This metal cabinet will hold the filter in the airstream. It gets secured with a few sheet metal screws. This foil tape will make an airtight seal between the ductwork and the new filter. Then, Terry reattaches the flexible return, installs the pleated filter, and seals it all with a cover plate. All right, Carol, we got the new filter installed, and I've changed the settings on the thermostat, so we're only going to bring on that fan when we're in cooling mode. That'll solve the humidity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. I think you can actually find a new home for that. Somebody in Orlando might need that.
I'm sure there is.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you
Enjoy.
so much.
Stay cool.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.